Are welfare recipients putting their money where it needs to be, or are they putting it towards illegal drugs, or the well-being of themselves and their families? This is why I believe welfare recipients should have mandatory drug testing. In my video, I'm going to cover a few points that talk about this. My first point I want to talk about is potential savings for taxpayers. If we as taxpayers are basically employing the recipients of welfare, don't you think the taxpayers should have a guarantee that their money is not being abused by the recipient? It is undeniable that drug testing the welfare recipients would eliminate unnecessary waste and free up limited tax dollars for better uses. A study I found has shown that Florida has saved almost $1 million by not providing assistance to 600 applicants who failed their drug test. If this pattern holds up, this state will save almost $9 million in the first year this law has been placed. $9 million. Think about all the money that this money could go to better use, such as roads, education, and other things like that. This law would also decrease money spent by the state, less applicants, which means less tax dollars going to waste, and nevertheless, it'll give us taxpayers assurance that our tax dollar is not being wasted. And I think that's the biggest role. That's very important as someone who's spending their hard work money and putting it towards someone that's not doing anything. It gives me assurance that it's not going somewhere where it shouldn't. My second point that I want to talk about is deterring drug use. And this point's probably one of the bigger points for me, because I don't just want to focus on the point of saving tax dollars, but I want to. It's more of is helping our country as a whole and bettering our country and looking out for one of each other. So I think that a required drug test will discourage these recipients from using the illegal drugs. And as we know, that poverty is more likely to use illegal drugs than the higher class. Limiting these will also solve drug wars in the United States, as we spend $40 billion each year trying to eliminate the supply of drugs. That really caught my eye. This will also lead to better health better health status for individuals. As we know, most of the drug users are out there trying to chase that high every day, and as their tolerance level increases, the consumption level increases, leading to overdose and other health-related issues. Using illegal drugs influences an individual from doing their daily activities and free time, from doing things like exercising, or going out and hanging out with their friends, or going out and spending time with their kids, and other things like that. A point that really stands out to me within this point is the fairness of the child's home life. It's not fair for a child to grow up and watching a parent who they call the role model influencing these activities. As a kid, you grow up looking up to your parents, hoping they guide you in the right path to grow up into a responsible and educated adult. And having a parent that is influencing these activities, or a parent who's not there because they're locked up, or even worse, they lost their life for using these illegal drugs, is a very selfish act to not be there to guide your kids and being able to support them as they grow up and try to be someone one day. My third point I want to cover is interests of fairness. The potential and current employed citizens today, majority of them have to take a mandatory drug test at the beginning of the job, and I think it's only fair to have these unemployed welfare recipients to also have a mandatory drug test. If I'm gonna go work for my money and have to be drug tested, then as a taxpayer in the future, I want to be sure my money is being used in the right manner and not being put to use to someone that's sitting at home and going to chase that next high. It's not right. I think it's only fair that us as a whole, U.S. citizens should be held at the same standard. It doesn't make sense to not drug test the ones sitting at home receiving government pay and have the ones that are employed having a full-time job, going to work every day, and they're required to drug test. Especially the recipients are receiving income as much as someone that's going to work every day and has a full-time job. You're going to tell me that's fair? I don't see it. My fourth point I want to cover is it promotes employment. Drug testing will motivate welfare recipients to stop illegal drug use and motivate them to get a job. And as most people that are receiving welfare are able to, sit at home and receive an income, I think to having them to do a drug test will make them shy away from receiving this free, we can call it a welfare check every month, and motivate them to go out and find a job. It'll also benefit our economy, with using tax dollars towards roads and education and other important areas instead of feeding out these free welfare checks to recipients who are going out and buying illegal drugs. It'll increase our jobs, increase job employment, and with Trump in office, I think that's a big key, as he already has opened up millions of job opportunities and is very helpful for our economy. With a higher employment rate means more people are also making more money, and more money made means more people are spending it, and that goes towards smaller jobs, which these smaller jobs are also creating job employment, which is very, it's kind of like, it's a trickle effect, as if someone's employed, they're making money, and their money is being spent toward business, and that business is employing these employees, and it goes on and on. And drug testing will promote employment for these welfare recipients, and it will also discourage them to discourage long-term welfare use, and not just to rely on a check to come in the mail every month. And I think another thing is advocating self-sufficiency, encouraging the ones that have relied on welfare their whole life, and give them the motivation and confidence to go out and earn their hard work dollar. As a human being, we work better when we are rewarded for our work. It gives us the feeling that we are on our own high, I guess you can call it. Influencing these recipients to replace their illegal drug high, for the feeling that they get the high when they get rewarded when they earn their hard work dollar. I think is very key. I think that's if we could encourage these these welfare recipients to replace that high with the hard work high. Well, that's my video, and I hope you took something out of it and enjoyed it. Thank you.